Bienvenidos amigos de YouTube, cuarta temporada, una nueva entrevista, viajamos a los 90 para hablar con un artista que la rompió en ese periodo de la música del Eurodance. Acá en Argentina sonó muchísimo el grupo Two Ibiza es un honor para mí estar hablando con Terry B. So, welcome, bienvenida Terry B a my
Buenos
YouTube
dias,
channel.
buenos dias. So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really appreciated. Muchas gracias y de nada for the invitación. Thank you for the invitation. There is a melody bumping in my head, into my life and into my dream. Mi español no es perfecto, pero yo hablo poquito.
Bien. You say that you're learning.
I studied estudiando para 4 años en Estados Unidos, pero con número 1 en España y Italia, I had to speak, the language. So
of course,
it was important to at least say to the people things. And I traveled to almost all of the Latin countries,
Great,
Bolivia, Uruguay, Chile, Bolivia, Argentina. Why is my mail on? Yes, so just almost all of them. So you kind of need to know some common words and to be able to communicate.
Yeah, of course. Tell me, how did you start this 2023?
Oh, good question. Wow. I was on the ship working for the New Year's for the Germans. So I just went from Washington. I had a big show in DC in the City Winery with some really famous musicians that I honor. So I was really lucky. And then I went to the Caribbean, joining the ship. And then I actually moved in this holiday. So everything is a mess. And I still have not been there, but I have never stopped moving around since 1997. So my life is like crazy. I don't even know if I've really had a vacation. I think I'm really always moving around. So.
Well, music was always in your life. That's true, no?
Mm-hmm. Well, I started very late compared to other singers, and especially with some artists joined the 90s. They didn't really like the music. But I graduated from university in Florida. I went to Florida A&M. It's actually the school where you keep seeing LeBron James wearing orange and green. Well, this is my university.
Yeah.
And it's a very famous school for the marching band who just played for Louis Vuitton in France. It's a very famous school. So when you want to sing, you don't want to do it there because everybody's good. So I waited until Germany and I went to the clubs and I accidentally met the LaBouche producers. And we started to make my first single, and then I got pregnant with my son. So we decided to wait. And when I waited, I kind of moved over to someone else, a new relationships, new studio, and ended up in the Modern Talking studio with Luis Rodriguez, from Madrid, but he lived in Hamburg. He lived in Hamburg. And then I had number 1 on the first song. So it was very strange not to really be in the business, but hear your voice everywhere. Like literally, Spain was incredible because it was absolutely, until today, it's still famous. It's crazy. And so Oh La 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 was really the first big record for me and my first record. So it was crazy.
Wow.
And then I made number 1 in Italy. And then I released and became a member of Future Breeze. So I did some features with the trance group Future Breeze. They worked as well. So at one point, I was doing DJ The Crow, Future Breeze, Two Ibiza. Avant-Garde came with Jerry Rapero, and then Avant-Garde kind of took over Oh La La La, and then Jerry and EO, Jerry, whose father is very, very famous for the Taka 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 Ta song. Jerry Rapero and I, congratulations to Jerry, who just did the new Black Eyed Peas single, my partner Jerry. We talk almost every day. Corazao is now the new Black Eyed Peas single. And and we just, from this point, started to do a lot of different music. We had a project at Barcelona with Blanco y Negro, mini records, Avenida.
Yeah.
Then I did records with DJ Antoine's mini records, with a couple of records with Antoine. Then I did a record called Fuck You, which went everywhere. I don't know why it was so famous. We're about to make it again right now, a new version. And then I started touring with Guetta, with Tiesto, with all these guys. And it was meeting Avicii's team that kind of kept me from falling off of the, I'm going to be a 90s, here go my old hits.
Yeah.
When I met Ash Panori, the manager of Avicii, he invited me to the whole team. And then I wrote for Cassette. I actually was writing for Avicii, actually for Guetta. And Guetta got the record and was like, Terry, oh, I don't know, let's do something else. It's always let's do. And so I sent it the same day to Avicii's manager, and he loved it because Tim had already worked for me. He did 2 remixes for me. One was my single with Roger Sanchez, and it's called Bang That Box. And that was Bang That Box was Avicii's first big remix job, period, in his career. So we actually started his career. It's actually, he says it in Netflix. So to have that history will always be a part of my life. I'm very sad to have lost him because I had written another record for Tim, for Avicii, and he didn't live long enough to really, for us to get to do it. Because I really waited. I love this folk country stuff. I did a lot of that. People don't know it. And just working with so many different DJs, Peter Brown, ATB, Disco Boys, Antoine, Laid Back Luke was a big record for me when I did Get It Right with Mosca. And then I went to Russia and I had a lot of records. I was working with Filatov Karas, who's very famous for the Imani single. And we actually did a few records together, but I had number 3 with Cassette in Russia and all these Tajikistans and Armenistan, all of these places. So I was really all over the place. And
nice. Incredible.
Yeah, but I think that made me a better person to be in Argentina. I love Recoleta. Recoleta is mi parte de Argentina. My favorite part is
Favorita.
Buenos Aires is Recoleta. I have always the same hotel, same place. I go to the funeral for the cemetery, and I take a walk. It's the only cemetery that is so beautiful that you take a walk.
That cemetery have a lot of history. There's a lot of important persons there. Yeah.
And I love that I've been able to experience all of this mostly by myself. I played in Maringá, I played in different places in Brazil, but Argentina, quite a special place for me working with. I think they were really responsible for making Terry B a real artist on the scene. And like I said, there are a lot of names, I often forget who I work with. And I wrote for a lot of people. I did music, right now, music in the new movie. Liam Neeson has a new movie called Memory.
Wow.
And I have a big record in that movie. If you see it, it's called Deep in the Night, where the people come to play. Deep in the night.
Deep in the night, where the people come to play. Deep in the night, where the players gonna play. Deep in the night.
Everybody's calling me like, is that you? I'm like, yeah, I forgot about it. And, to be on the radar.
You say that is because the people maybe they don't know this, but there's a lot of projects with a lot of voices that they are not the same guys or the same women in the pictures.
I never agreed to that. Tu Ivisa was always me. Actually, I was the only one singing. Yeah. So the blonde girls were lip syncing someone else's voice, but my voice was too weird. So either there was no one in the video or I was in the video. I never compromised this because I knew it was dangerous. A lot of singers did. I was with the lady who sung 2 Time. All those women dedicated so much their voice. And yeah, now they tell everyone I sung Corona. I know I met the girl who did Corona, and Corona never sung anything, that lady. So it's to meet the real singers. They're beautiful and they can sing. So I don't know what was the problem.
I know that. Well, for example, you say here in my YouTube channel, including me, there's a lot of fans of Modern Talking, for example. Modern Talking was a big group here in Argentina, in South America. I'm a big fan too.
I know Dieter, yeah.
Well, there's a big example, always the people are talking about that, if Dieter sing, or he never
Dieter is singing. So I can assure you today, I've been in the studio while he's singing. He is singing. Louis did his magic like he did for every other singer that he worked with. He EQ'd this and that, but he went in and he sung all the songs. So Thomas Anders, of course, sung all his part. Dieter's voice is on all the records. That's a fact. I know with Blue System, he never said that was him. So that is my friend Terry Byrne from England. He sings this, but he never said that was him. But Modern Talking is Dieter's voice. I was in the studio with Dieter for at least a year and a half. I never knew he was famous because he wasn't famous in America. So he always would come to my face like, Terry, I was like, Dieter, I don't know you. So none of us Americans know you. Stop it. Back it up. And he would be like this close. I'm like, dude. He was funny. We had a lot of fun times. One time he broke my glasses because we were playing on the mixing board and they fell off, like really playing. He was fun. He was really, I didn't know he was famous until later. And then we started to use his fame to get into the clubs. Yeah. Like, oh, we're with Dieter. And then we would go in and then we would leave and go have fun.
Well, tell me more about that experience there working with Luis Rodriguez. He's an excellent producer from the 80s, 90s music.
Louis is amazing. We were working together on a new project called Almava with a track called Corazon. And I will still continue that project. He's just really doing so much fancy and this. Louis really knows his shit. If it wasn't for Louis, we did get an opportunity. Myself, Moose T, Fun Factory, all these guys came from the streets like I did, and we got an open door to a massive mixed board, massive sound. So I'm very grateful for that, for Louis. We've always had a good relationship. We don't agree on every business point because who does? It's a business. But when it comes to the personal situation, I was just in Mallorca in beginning of the pandemic or in the middle of the pandemic last year, recording with him. He still has that sound, this big wall of sound. And I learned a lot from him about production. So as a producer myself now, I don't engineer, but I produce, bring the whole projects to the charts. That's what I try to do. I learned a lot about sound and how important that is to an artist understanding the value of engineers and not just me as a songwriter. But from day one, he made us write a lot of songs. I mean, I think I did the whole Tu Avisa album in a weekend.
You like the style of Modern Talking music?
I understand it. I'm on a German ship. It's German, it's European, it's disco. The songs are really catchy. Dieter knew what he wanted to do with that. It's catchy and it's fun and people can dance all day long to Cherry Cherry Lady and, You're My Heart. Actually, I didn't know he did My Heart and Soul. And Amadeus was in the studio, the producer and the writer. And I said, oh, I like this song, Heart and Soul. Let's make a house track. He said, no, this guy is coming tomorrow. We're going to start to redo all the tracks with rap. So I was there in the beginning of him doing it with rap and, this whole.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because Tu Avisa started in 1997, the same year of the second period of Modern Talking. Yeah.
Yeah, we were all there. It was just me and Dieter in the studio, literally just the two of us.
Wow. And what can you say about Thomas Anders, for example?
I don't know Thomas at all. He came in and he left. He came in and he left. He has a brilliant voice, very quiet. He was, we weren't close because whenever he came, I wasn't there. For whatever reason, Dieter hung around all night. His kids came, but Thomas wasn't there. So all I can say is he also, when I toured, when I was in Russia in studios and going around, Thomas is always booked in Latvia and all these places. So he's a great vocalist. That's all I can say. We don't have a personal relationship.
Okay, I understand. So Dieter was with a biggest relation because he was always in the studio with you, working there.
Well, he was doing whatever he was doing. I don't know what he was. He was at the bar talking about something, or he was just all he knew what he wanted in his music, and they told me he knew it before in the '80s, and he knew it now. And I respected that he had a vision. Producers don't turn knobs necessarily. Producers, this is a mistake. People confuse engineer with producer. A good producer makes something work. They make it go from the infant stage to a massive idea coming out for the world. And it's kind of the same philosophy I used when I now work with my Terry Green project, the Soul Project. It's called the Terry Green Project. We went in 2019 from unknown to now top 30 in the US R&B airplay charts in Billboard, which means we're on the radio in the whole country. And we did it in 3 years, and some people have done that for 20 years and they didn't achieve it. And it's about really your organization and your understanding how songs are written, hooks and melodies and execution.
Yeah.
Music is only a small part. You have to make the record work, and I'm pretty good at that now.
Yeah, I always talk about this because with the artists, when I do this interview, the people think that it's easy being there doing music, but it's so hard. And not about Pink Floyd, those groups. We are talking about pop music, and it's not easy just being there doing
and pop music is very difficult. Pop is because it's so opinionated, and that's my German English, so opinion. But it's really difficult to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
I toured used to be the backing singer for some German projects like Roberto Blanco, like these Schlager guys. And then I would go out with techno with, Future Breeze. And then that was a whole new world that I loved because I always listened to different music, classical music, pop music, new waves music, UK, 80s, Duran Duran, Madonna, everything. So this gave me a really good ear to write interesting music.
Great. If you could go back in time, will you change something of your career? You think that there is a few mistakes or something? Maybe I will change this.
Oh, I mean, definitely you make mistakes. That's for sure. As a mother, I would probably definitely have paid even more attention while my young son was coming up. I would have done some things for his life differently. Mm-hmm. We are very close. He was a professional basketball player. He's a New York shoe designer, and everything goes well, but you can never get the time back. So I wish I had just had a few more days with him as a really tiny boy. I think I would have spoken up even more. And sometimes when people give you good advice, sometimes you should take it. And you have to put yourself first. I'm a person where I didn't always put myself first because I was always in a grupo, todo el tiempo grupo, always in a group. So I started to become that team. Everything's a team and us, and everyone's not like this.
Yeah.
So you can stand in front of the stage with David Guetta for years, but that doesn't make you David Guetta. You can tour with the biggest artists of the planet, but that's not your show. So it's important that you put yourself first.
Well, I want to go back to 1997. I want to know about TUE Ibiza. They contact you. How they start this project?
I went to a studio with my German boyfriend at the time. I looked on the wall of Lewis's studio the first day I met him, and there was a circle of Fun Factory. And I said, "Oh, I love this. Do you know this group?" He said, "I produced it." I said, "Oh, I want to work here. I love Fun Factory." He said, "You love it?" I said, "Yeah, it's in America. It's great." They already knew I liked this, tick, 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 this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was walking in the hallway one day with the Big Mac, I think. And Amadeus said to me, "Can you come and make some vocals on top of this track we have?" And I went and said, Everybody dance with me. I just kind of made it up.
Everybody dance with me. Everybody dance with me.
And then he gave me the other lyrics to sing, and then I left. I forgot about it. Then a few months later, they said, "Oh, it's working. Do you want a contract?" And I said, "I don't want to be exclusive, but I'll do the band, but I don't want to be." So that's how we did it. And then we started to tour with the manager. We went everywhere. And I was just in a hallway. It was very relaxed in the studio. No one was there. Dieter, me, and a few producers. So we found two, the English girl who sung it originally, Trisha Mann, she went back to London. So two twins. One girl, Melanie, came with me. And then we had twins at one point, and we had just, they kept switching, the blonde people kept Josie, the girlfriend of Lewis, actually sings all the other ones.
Yeah, well, Josie is very popular in the Eurodisco scenes, you know, and Liam Ross have a few hits too, you know, during the 80s music, yeah.
That's right. I didn't know it then, but I know it now.
Yeah.
No, but it was a really good experience. It was really not I learned a lot, and none of that I would change. I mean, I love music. I love writing songs. So I've released more than 1,000 singles right now, and I'm good. Like, it's just, it's great. You know,
nice. Well, let me see. You look gorgeous. You have a beautiful voice. You have a beautiful voice. Yeah. I watch the videos when you travel here to Buenos Aires. The people there with all the energy, you know, so fantastic, so fantastic. I want to know about your new projects for this year. So tell me that.
I need you to tell me, because it's too many. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. So I'm working with a brand new DJ. Well, he's signed in Belgium, called Sam Thompson, and we just created a spoken vocal, cool underground. I'm working again with Ralphie Rosario in the US. I'm going to do the Lizzie Wang thing. It's finished, from China. I'm doing another dance single with the cousin of Jermaine Dupri, a guy named Joel Treese. We're doing a step record in the R&B world. I'm doing a remix with my R&B stuff, an EP. It's pretty much finished. I'm done with that. And I want to drop a rework. We're going to rework Fuck You this year, you know, with Jerry Rapero. You know, he's so famous right now, but he's not in the music business anymore. So it's going to be very interesting how we do this.
Never ever go out with somebody else, but you did, so fuck you. You told me you buy me a big black
And I would like to do Soul Heaven again, which was really big in Brazil.
Everywhere there's people, hands to the sound. It's such a good feeling, you can't put down.
Working, always working. Always.
I'm forgetting about 3 records. I just don't know what they are. I just finished spinning records. We did Mogwai this year. I did Get Down Again with Mogwai, so that was great for spinning records. And it's just, now I have every label, Ultra, Spinning, all of them. So I think it's crazy that people try so hard to get on these labels, and then if you just get old enough, they call you for the old shit.
Yeah, so true. Well, the last one, if you want to send any message to all your fans, I think that this is the moment.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being so professional. It was really such a pleasure. Anytime someone thanks you or recognizes what you've done, you just, first of all, I'm honored from the other side. And number 2, people can check me out on Instagram, Terry B Music, Terry with an I, not a Y. Terry B Music is everything. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, so they can check me out there. I'm going to plan to join. I want to join with my singer. We will do some To Ivica tribute stuff this year. I hope. We're going to stay in contact. And I'm really just excited to go on stage and go bananas, you know. I don't know if you ever been with me in a club, but I have a party once a year for people who want to check out my radio show, which is also in Portuguese speaking countries and Spanish speaking. I do a radio show called The House Crunch. I created it back in the early 2000s. That show has a lot of downloads. It's very popular, plays in the UK, US,
Wow.
Sydney, Australia, Bondi radio. It's everywhere, and it's called The House Crunch with Terry B. And they can get it on Amazon or podcast on iTunes. But each week I DJ, which I don't know if you knew that. I DJ, but I also mix and feature other DJs. That's what I'll be doing. So social media is what I like to speak with people, and they can check me out. And I just appreciate you for doing this. It's really great.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I wish you
Hasta luego. En una mensaje en español. Muchas gracias para todos los fans de Tu Ibiza. Yo soy muy triste que yo no estoy en Buenos Aires ahora. Mi favorito país es Buenos Aires en Argentina. Pero muchas gracias para este momento en mi vida. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti, gracias. Un beso enorme.
Hasta luego. Okay. Hasta luego, mi amor.